確かに遊んでもいいとは言ったが、そもそもの計画が実行できなければ意味が。分かってるわよ。でも最近いろいろしてて、ただでさえ寝不足で。それは秘密でしょ、ここは。
Did you check your wardrobe before saying that? It's like you're not even trying to be subtle. Hello and welcome to another Streaming Parson Dig Delight Direct Drive DJ video. Today we are talking about Unichord's lyricist, Tendo Hayate. This appears ironic as between Cocoa and Michiru's constant banter and Lumina's extroverted aria programming, she tends to speak the least. However, her lyricism talents are a result of being a good listener and cultivated a discerning heart. This is an important skill to develop as this leads to making wise decisions, and by extension builds strong communities. Of course, D4DJ exists in a cute girl anime world, meaning many shenanigans are bound to happen. This will put her abilities to the test. Hayate first appears in Side Nova alongside her partner Cocoa, introducing themselves to Michiru. Her first line is, "I just can't drink black coffee," which not only foreshadows the upcoming story arc, but also speaks volumes of her character. Knowing Cocoa's feelings towards Michiru, she was worried that her raw feelings would make the situation bitter. This line was a warning to Michiru, but the latter misinterpreted the euphemism. Hayate hates conflict and will do whatever it takes to avoid it. Side Nova 2 gives the Hayate origin story, where the audience learns that there is some unrest with her parents. But they take it out in the worst way, by arguing over her instead of directly dealing with whatever their real problem is. Hayate struggled to please her parents' conflicts of interest, but did everything she could to alleviate the tension. Prolonged exposure to this dynamic conditioned Hayate to attentively listen to the feelings of others in order to bring peaceful resolutions. One night, after more trouble with the family bickering, she hears the remix to a song called Kogetsu. Recalling the original, Hayate notices that the remix betrays its intent and its mass appeal as it forsakes the emotional distraught of the original composer. She takes it upon herself to create lyrics for Kogetsu. She wrote the lyrics to commune with this composer on how she could hear every whimper, every teardrop, every silent moment of pain hidden from the rest of the world. Hearing every sound created an immediate intimate connection with them, moving her to comfort this lonely moon. She correctly interprets the song as indicated by Cocoa's approval of the lyrics. If sending DMs out of the blue wasn't creepy enough, Hayate finds out where she lives and approaches Cocoa to form a duet unit, Haya Coco, beginning the journey of sharing Kogetsu the way it was meant to be. As time passed and Haya Coco went from gig to gig, Hayate realized that something was missing, not just for their music, but for Cocoa's emotional growth. Enter Ichihashi Lumina, who offers them a proposition to team up and create a DJ unit. Seems like a good idea, as this would increase their popularity, accelerating their ability to share Cocoa's Kogetsu. But there is a little snag. They're gonna need a DJ to form a DJ unit. Lumina thought about that and invited none other than Kaibara Michiru. This is a problem because Michiru is the one who created the perverted remix. Cocoa is obviously not too thrilled about this predicament, but Hayate takes a different approach as she doesn't let emotions cloud her judgment. In fact, despite being Cocoa's girlfriend, she doesn't immediately choose her side. Instead, she chooses to be patient and attempts befriending Michiru. Considering that she's been dating Cocoa for a while by the time Side Nova begins, one would think that she'd default to always siding with her. But that is not indicative of wisdom.
で、ここからどうするんだ？どうしよう。そうだな。本当に無策か。もう一度だけチャンスが欲しいのだ。事情を知らなかったとはいえ、私はココア殿が曲に込めた思いを読み取れなかった。 もう一度だけ古月のアレンジをさせてほしいのだ。新曲の編曲も任せたくないって話をしているのに、よりによって古月を？そんなの許すわけ？いいじゃん、やってみてよ。嫌よ、なんでそんなこと言うの？颯は私の味方でしょ。そうだよ、私はココアの味方だから、ココアのために言ってる。私たちの曲にはミチルのアレンジが必要だと思う。そんなわけない。私と颯は2人で十分。ミチルのアレンジなんてなくても完璧な。早ここではアビスメアから1票も取れなかったと思う。だからココアもこのユニットでやろうって思ったんでしょ。私たち2人では足りないんだ。だから最後のチャンス。ミチル、ココアの思いをちゃんと汲み取れる？私はやるのだ。できるのだ。ココア殿、颯殿、ルミナ師匠、4人で合わせたあの感覚は本物なのだ。今度はココア殿の気持ちにちゃんと向き合いたい。そして一緒に曲を作りたい。私はもう一人なんてなりたくない。知らない。私の味方をしてくれない颯なんてもう知らない。言ってしまった。ココアは任せて。ミチルはアレンジ頑張って。ルミナ師匠、スタジオの機器を借りるのだ。ああ、やる気になってくれて何よりだ。完全に颯にペースを握られてしまったな。こうなればお前にかけるしかないか。ひいては颯を見出した僕の計算に。ココアのことはなんとかなるんだな。うん、大丈夫。多分。心配だな。
Inside Nova 3, Lumina tells the members of their newly founded unit that for their next gig, they should come up with an original song. Michiru is hyped up to make an arrangement for what Cocoa will come up with, but she rejects Michiru's involvement. When Michiru asks for a reason, Cocoa snaps at her, causing her to run and cry in a pillow. The next morning, Hayate suggests that they all talk together and sort out their feelings. However, she overlooked that her own girlfriend doesn't know how to do that. Michiru begins with an apology, but it falls on deaf ears as Cocoa is quick with the hostilities, bringing up Kogetsu. Cocoa states that she never wanted Michiru to rearrange her song because she believes that her loneliness was hers alone. She continues that the arrangement became something for the masses, no longer making it her creation. She delivers a finishing blow by vowing that she will not have her feelings twisted by Michiru again. In wanting to hurt Michiru with guilt, Cocoa does not catch herself in how much she is cutting into Hayate. When she calls it her Kogetsu, all Hayate could hear was how distant she was from Cocoa because she believed they were connected by their loneliness, their feelings, their Kogetsu. It is in the conflict that she knew she had to make a stand. Not to be passive like when she witnessed her parents fight, but to truly listen so she can do what is right, not just for her, but for Cocoa. Hayate is one patient woman. Throughout Side Nova's early chapters, Cocoa continuously disregards her feelings and her words. She has spelled out multiple times that Cocoa should put her grudges aside in order to expand her music. Hayate wanted Cocoa to find the strength to move on from her grief, but she overestimated her ability to listen. Hayate was hoping Cocoa could hear Michiru's immediate regret in perverting Kogetsu, but her bitterness made her deaf to others' emotions. Which is ironic because the whole point of Kogetsu was to be heard in her suffering. Michiru pleads to remix Kogetsu again, believing she understands Cocoa's feelings. Cocoa refuses, but when Hayate gives Michiru a chance, since technically it's her song too, you know, making the lyrics and all, Kokowa becomes livid, seeing this as an act of betrayal, but Hayate is taking a stand to do what is right, to help Kokowa move on from her hatred so she can finally heal. Arguments are always an ugly affair as they often stem from misunderstanding or ignorant anger. It is always important to take a step back and try and see every angle and perspective to have a clear mind to make good judgments and peacefully resolve conflict. Hayate gracefully handles Kokowa's outburst of hating her, and instead of getting emotional, she patiently waits for the opportunity to approach her. This takes an incredible amount of wisdom, but experience has taught her that conflicts are not settled with more yelling, but with gentle words. Waiting for Michiru to make some progress with her Gogetsu remix, she enters Kokowa's room not to scold her for immaturity or insubordination, but to listen and discern for themselves whether they can forgive Michiru or not. Michiru surprises them as not only does she prove her sincerity, she shows that she is trustworthy. After the D4 Fest USA shebang, Unichørd spends some time at a beach. Summer Chord and the Four Secrets ask the question of how much they really trust each other. Throughout D4DJ's narrative since Unichord's inclusion, there's a plot of Kokowa and Hayate hiding their romantic relationship, even from teammates Michiru and Lumina. At the start of their beach day, Kokowa emphasizes how important it is to keep their relationship a secret. Hayate doesn't care much for subtlety, and she can't help but openly flirt and reveal to some strangers that they are a couple. This could have been Hayate getting back at Kokowa for disregarding her advice and side Nova time and time again. But no, the reality is that Hayate just wants to be honest with her words. Her flirting with Kokowa is just her honest thoughts on her feelings, and saying she's taken is a legitimate and truthful reason to reject a guy hitting on her. When Kokowa reprimands Hayate for not being subtle enough in front of Lumina, Hayate points out that this shouldn't even be an issue because she believes that Lumina is trustworthy of their secret.
二人ともちゃんと部屋に運んでおいたよ。さて、これでゆっくり話せるね。ああ、お疲れ様。それで、私とココアは付き合ってる。女の子同士だけどね。そうか。このこと、みちるは知っているのか？知らないと思う。他の誰かに話したのは、ルミナが初めてだ。なぜ今、というのは、まあ、事故みたいなものか。そうだね。けど私としては、いい機会かなとも思ってるよ。では、なぜ隠していたんだ？ココアが大事だから、かな。もちろん、ユニコードもルミナもミチルも大事。だから私としては、別に隠すことじゃないと思ってる。その方が可愛い彼女のこと自慢できるし。だけど、ココアが嫌なら尊重したい。その気持ちはわかるから。だが世界は進歩し続けている。同性をパートナーとして公表する人だっているだろう。何をそんなに頑なに隠す必要がある？時代の進歩に全ての人間がついていけてるとは限らないよ。だからちょっと臆病になっちゃってるんだ。ココアはさ。そうか。僕のことを信頼していないとか、そういう話ではないのだな。それはもちろん。ルミナもミチルも信頼してる。
After an exhausting day, Lumina and Hayate talk. Throughout Summer Chord and the Four Secrets, Lumina suspects Kokowa and Hayate's relationship with her high-powered internet deductive skills. However, before Lumina finishes asking her question, Hayate is quick to reveal the truth about her. She states that she's fine with sharing this information because she trusts her. Lumina questions why bother keeping the secret if Hayate feels this way, but she replies that it is because she wants to respect Kokowa's wish to keep it private. The conflict of interest show that Hayate cares a great deal about Kokowa's personal wishes, but also wants to honor Lumina and Michiru's honesty by being honest herself. Once again, Hayate weighs her judgment not on her present feelings, but on what is best for Unichørd. Throughout Side Nova, Lumina has been nothing but trusting to the others with information that could change the DJ world as they knew it. In Hayate's mind, it is only fair to reciprocate that trust even though it betrays Kokowa's desires. Fortunately for her, she is not punished for this betrayal, as Kokowa this time is quick to admit that she is wrong. Between Side Nova and Summer Court and the Four Secrets, Hayate has intentionally gone against Kokowa in publicly flirting and siding with Michiru more often than she should. This is because she is more concerned with Kokowa's growth and wants to help her mature. First, with overcoming Kokowa's mother's death and her emotional distraught, and now with her ability to trust others. Hayate's ultimate interest is in Kokowa's future and will often trump her present emotions in order to pursue some higher future goal. This is driven from a deep love for Kokowa's overall well-being and is willing to do whatever it takes to help her grow, even if that means they might part ways. In Unichørd, Eternity to a Restless Heart, Unichørd encounter an old classmate of Kokowa's, Megumi, who is going through some relationship problems. During their first encounter, Hayate is silent, as Lumina is more than capable of giving relationship advice despite being 4 years old. As Hayate listens, she knows she is more than capable of helping, but out of respect for Kokowa, stays silent. Fast forward to Valentine's Day. On the way home from a hard day's work, Hayate and Kokowa encounter Megumi again, but this time in distress. Megumi regales them of how she had an argument with her boyfriend, feeling as if they have drifted apart, considering ending their relationship. Kokowa suggests that maybe wait a bit and then talk again, but Hayate chimes in saying that maybe that's how it is, since nothing is forever. She states that life is full of changes and things like high school romances can come to an end. The wise thing to do is to accept that things change and learn from them to better help conduct oneself in the future. Being honest and humble about what one cannot change is an important step in growing up. Hayate is urging Megumi to steel herself for what she thinks is the natural result in her relationship. She waited to give this advice because she was discerning how Megumi should move forward with her feelings. It is important to stress how Hayate's advice is tailored toward Megumi because what happens next low-key got me annoyed. To push the plot, Kokowa pulls a typical teenage drama misunderstanding and needlessly applies it to their relationship. She interprets Hayate's realistic words as her wanting to break up. But clearly that is not what is happening. Hayate stated that she is thinking this based on what she heard from Megumi's lips. There is absolutely no reason for Kokowa to be mad.
Bye bye. 話し込んじゃったね。さあ、帰ろっか。意外だった。何が？私はまあ昔からの仲だし、無限にはできないなって思って話聞いたけど、颯、相談とかああいうの興味ないのかなって。うん。でもあの子、真剣そうだったし。それに、思ったことをそのまま言っただけだよ。ルミナやココアみたいに理論とか気遣いとかよくわかんないから。あ、横やり入れちゃってごめんね。ううん、いいの。めぐみちゃんもすっきりしてたみたいだし。でも、まずい。ココア？知らなかったから、びっくりしちゃった。これ、止められない。びっくり？颯があんな風に思っていたなんて、ずっと颯といられるって、ずっと一緒だと思っていたのは私だけで、颯は。違うよ、ココア。 多分意味を取り違えてる。じゃああの場の嘘だったってこと？いや、そうじゃなくて。颯の口から聞いたことで不安になっちゃった。私と同じように考えてくれてないのかなって。ダメ。それ以上は。そうじゃないよ。ならどういう意味なの？だって思ったことを言ったんでしょ？ね、言葉にするの初めてで難しいんだけど、私ももちろん一緒にいたいよ、ココアとずーっと。でももしココアがそうじゃない選択をしたとしたら、引き止めるのは違うと思う。ココアの好きにさせてあげたい。だから離れる未来があるかもしれないなって、私が納得してるってだけ。いつか私が離れていったらなんて、勝手に尊重しないで。そんなの私は嬉しくない。ココア、ごめん。私先に帰るね。うん。
I made fun of Hayate in The Lonely Moon about her being bad at teaching empathy, but it traces back to something more basic. She failed to teach Kokoa how to listen. Their musical dynamic as Haya Koko may have something to do with this. The roles were hard set of Kokoa making the melodies and Hayate making the lyrics in response. Kokoa simply created an expression, placing all the listening on Hayate. As a result, Kokoa cultivated a mindset of listen to respond, which is why her advice to Megami is too simplistic and general. Hayate goes through the effort to listen to understand, which is why her words are so poignant. This is also why there is that disparity of Megami easily understanding what Hayate is getting at, while Kokoa lashes out the first moment they are alone. Hayate goes home alone after their fight, blaming herself for what happened. This feels unfair as Kokoa's listen to respond mentality made her impulsive with her words. Hayate, however, likes to take her time and think things through, so during the fight, she stumbles over her words because she hasn't had the time to process her situation. Fortunately, she's going to get some help via Lumina visiting her later that evening. Getting too used to giving advice at Cafe Vinyl, Lumina goes over to Hayate's apartment to comfort her and give advice. Being experienced in both relationships and telepathy, she effectively tells Hayate that she must be proactive in telling Coco what she thinks and feels, since couples are not mind readers. It is important to be a good listener, but you also need to communicate what is on your heart and your mind. Hayate is reinvigorated and heads over to Kokoa's house to clear up the misunderstanding between them. Late into the night, she appears at Kokoa's house and takes her to a nearby park. She confesses her love again, but clarifies that it includes accepting Kokoa if she were to find someone else. Hayate is accepting of that possibility because she is humble enough to know that it is the right thing to do. But today, they are together and they should also treasure their time in the present. The story ends with Hayate stating that as of right now, she wants to be with Kokoa and will fight for their relationship into the future. Her heart and her mind are made clear to Kokoa, who admits she was wrong to be upset. They make up, complete with Hayate reaffirming her love with Valentine's chocolate under a February snowy night.
だから責任取るよ。え？はい、チョコを受け取って。それとずっと永遠に一緒にいるね。永遠なんてきっとない。もしかしたらいつか颯と別れる日が来るのかも。でもだからこそ私は今あなたと一緒にいたい。 うん